Hi guys, JP from FSiPanel. Welcome to this video where we will fly a training scenario from Nice, south of France, to Corsica Island, Ajaccio Airport. We might not reach Ajaccio as we will experience some malfunction most probably. So I have loaded the aircraft at stand 14 Charlie, and now we will be able to start FSiPanel and prepare that scenario and see what happened to us today. All right, let's jump in the cockpit and we will start now FSiPanel. As you can see, I haven't changed anything here. I just have the aircraft on GPU, or is it on the APU? It's on GPU, and I will start FSiPanel to let the software prepare everything for that scenario. So let's go ahead and start FSiPanel. Here we are in FSiPanel, and the airport Nice has been detected. That's perfect. And now if I click on training scenario, I want to fly the last version, this one here. I will just open the session note so we have a quick look at some informations. We will not go through the whole lesson plan. The idea is just to check that we've done everything properly. So Nice, and we have to park the aircraft at any stand on the next terminal, next to Terminal 1. So that's the case. We are right now at Terminal 1, Gate 14 Charlie, and I have loaded already the weather file. Then the clearance, we will expect to depart runway 22 left today on the Lanzhou 7 X-ray, and the weather is windy a little bit from the west, 13 knots, a good visibility, a few clouds only, 25 degrees and 1015. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and bring that scenario. So start training, and when you click start training, FSiPanel will start by downloading the voice pack for your ATC, and then it will program your aircraft. As you can see, we have the route, and now everything will be set with the aircraft weight, performance, and the cockpit will be ready for you to fly within the next 30 seconds or so. Once FSiPanel is doing this, do not do anything, just wait until you get the first ATC instructions telling you that everything is ready. Otherwise, you might interfere with the process. All right, now as you can see, instructions are clear. The scenario starts now. Contact pre-flight on 121780. 21780, that's to pick up the ATC clearance. 121780 for the clearance, and acknowledge. All right, another thing you can do now is listen to the ATIS to make sure we have the right information when we contact pre-flight. So the ATIS is always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the FSiPanel training scenario, and you have to dial it in COM2. So if I dial in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on COM2, I have the ATIS.
Departure runway 22 left, arrival runway 22 right, wind 270 degrees 15 knots, visibility 10 kilometers or more, cloud view at 4,500 feet, temperature 25.18, PMDG 1015, information mic.
All right, 1015, 1015, that has been set already. Good, so we are ready to pick up the clearance, then we can prepare our cockpits. So 121780, and let's go ahead, FSiPanel 235 today. Nice pre-flight, bonjour, FSiPanel 235, stand 14 Charlie, ready to pick up IFR clearance to Ajaccio. Information mic.
FSiPanel 235, clear to Lima Foxtrot Kilo Juliet is filed. Lanzhou 7 X-ray departure. Climb and maintain flight level 100, squawk 2265.
Roger, clear to Ajaccio, Lima Foxtrot Kilo Juliet, runway 22 left, Lanzhou 7 X-ray departure, initial climb clearance flight level 100, transponder 2265, FSiPanel 235.
FSiPanel 235, readback is correct. When ready for pushback, contact ground frequency 121.705. Have a safe flight.
Roger, when ready for pushback 121705, FSiPanel 235, bye-bye. Alright, clearance is received, Lanzhou 7 X-ray in the box, initial flight level 100, squawk 2265. All right, let's have a quick look at the charts for that departure and the route, the taxi route. Okay, here we are, position 14 Charlie. So I'm expecting to push back facing east on taxiway Sierra, and then probably we will taxi via Foxtrot and Uniform, or maybe via Tango and Golf to Uniform, and the idea is to probably hold short of 22 right at Hotel 1 and then cross and line up on 22 left. So that's very important to make sure we hold short of the active runway 22 right. Perfect. As per the SID, we have been clear on the Lonzu 7 X-ray departure, which is an air nav departure, so easy for us. No nav setting to be done. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet, air nav 1, so we have no malfunction, so therefore the aircraft is air nav 1 capable. Lonzu 7 X-ray, so for jet it's 7 X-ray, for propeller it's 7 Yankee. So now for us 7 X-ray, flight level 100 is initial climb clearance, that's correct. And as you can see, we just fly on runway track to waypoint 222, 223 and 232, and finally to Lonzu. We have a speed and altitude restriction at November 232, maximum 210 and 6,000 feet. So if we check in our FMC, we can see that the right SID has been selected, Lonzu 7 X-ray, and we should have the restriction. And if you fly VNAV, the restriction will be maintained. Flight level 100 is set and the scope is 2265. So everything is good. Let's do a pre-flight checklist, please. Okay, oxygen tested 100%. Navigation and transfer switch. All right, so this is up there. We have normal, and auto. Windows heat on. Pressurization mode selector is auto. Flight instrument heading altimeter. Okay, flight instruments. So we've got heading 011, 011, and I can see on the compass we're about 010. Altimeters, QNH is 1015, 1015, 1015, and we're reading 20 feet, 20 feet, 20 feet. Perfect. Parking brake is set. Engine start lever cut off. Pre-flight checklist completed. Alright, let's get ready for departure. Everything is done, so I will call GS6 to remove the bridge and to prepare for pushback. Right, and prepare for pushback, please. And departure. Here we go. In the meantime, we can do the before start flow, please. So before start flow, pumps, fuel pumps on. Then we go to the right across here to find the seat belts, make sure it's on. Then if we are clear to pressurize, we pressurize the hydraulic. We will check that we have 3000 psi in a minute. And then we go down here and we put anti-collision light on. Now that this is done, as well, just put your transponder to altitude reporting or transponder. I put it myself on altitude reporting. It works perfectly well. All right, if we look in the hydraulic, we can see 3000 psi, 3000 psi, and we have good quantities of hydraulic. Everything looks good. So then I will open the engine page for the engine start. So let's call for push. Ground, bonjour, FSiPanel 235, stand 14 Charlie, ready for pushback.
FSiPanel 235, ground hello. Pushback is approved facing east on taxiway Sierra. Report ready for taxi.
Roger, pushback is approved facing east on Sierra and will report for taxi FSiPanel 235. Alright. Before start checklist. Flight deck door closed and locked. Fuel. We have 6 tons on board and pumps on. Passenger signs on. Windows closed. MCP V2 is 144, heading is 223, flight level 100. Takeoff speed. V1 141, V-rotate 141, V2 144, which is set on the window, and auto throttle is arm. CDU pre-flight completed. Rudder and aileron trim. So this is right there. We can see neutral and 00. Taxi and takeoff briefing completed. Anti-collision light is on. Before start checklist completed. Alright, we are ready for push. We have been cleared for push facing east, so east to my right, so the nose to the right. Let's go. Alors, nose to the right, tail to the left. Alright, starting engine. So we need to turn off the pack, otherwise we don't have enough bleed pressure to start the engines. And let's go ahead and start the engine. So we start with engine number 2 normally. So ground, we should see start valve open. When we have start valve open, some air is blowing to the turbine. You can see N2 increasing. When N2 increase, you have to check as well that N1 is increasing. And by 25% or no more acceleration, we will put the fuel on. So when we put the fuel on, just now, what we expect to see is a fuel flow. Once you have a fuel flow, ignition is there, we should have a light up. Now that we have a light up, we continue to monitor N1, N2, and oil pressure rising. When the value is above 12 to 13 psi, the low oil pressure light goes away. We continue to monitor everything, and we are waiting for 56% N2. When you have 56% N2, the switch will go off, and that light will go. This is what we are looking at. So starter cut out. If the light stays on and flashes, maybe the switch is still in the run position, stuck, or maybe we have a malfunctions of the valve. So this is what we check. Let's do the same procedures for engine number 1. Start 1. Wait. Brake set. Let's do that right away, because it takes some time. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect. Fuel. Starting number 1. As well, how do we know that we have a good engine start? The start valve goes away after 56% N2, and look at this red EGT limit. When the FEDEC remove these lights, it's a normal start. So now we are still starting the engine, and now the light is gone. We can call normal start. The figures you should see is around 246. You can see 2, 20%, around 400 degrees, and 60% N2. So 2, 4, 6, and oil pressure is around 30 psi. It should be out of the amber position as well. Sometimes the oil temperature might be low, especially in winter, so that's normal. You can expect the engine to warm up within a few minutes. All engine parameter normals. Let's do the after start flow. Alright, after start flow, we put the generator on the bus. If you forget to do that, it will be done at the takeoff roll, provided you keep the APU running. So now we have the generator on the bus. We will put the probit to on, and we will give some air in the cabin for the passengers. Isolation valve goes to auto, and I will show you something now. If I forget If I forget the APU, for example, here, and I continue my flow, I'll go to the engine start switches to continuous. And now what we do when we have done the flow, we press recall. And now you see how there is a light. And the light is air conditioning. So that tells you if you forgot something. And then you find out the light is dual bleed, and you know that you forgot to turn off the APU. Very nice. So once this is done, recall is checked. Engines parameters are normal. We can close the secondary display. And now we can call for flaps 5. And flight control check. So let's go in the system page. Not all 737 have this indication. So if we do the flight control check on an aircraft that doesn't have it, then you just check basically that your wheel is free for movement. Left side up, right, centered, fully down, centered, fully up, centered, rudder, full left, centered, full right, centered. Flight control check. And before taxi checklist, please. Before taxi checklist, generators are on, ProBeat auto, anti-ice off, isolation valve auto, engine start switches, they're on continuous. Recall checked, auto brake, RTO, engine start level, idle detent, flight control checked, and the ground equipment we have been cleared by GS6. Before taxi checklist completed. All right, let's request taxi, please. FSiPanel 235 ready for taxi.
FSiPanel 235, taxi holding point Hotel 1, via Sierra, Foxtrot, and uniform, hold short of runway 22 right.
Roger, taxi Hotel 1 via Sierra, Foxtrot, and uniform, all short of 22 right, FSiPanel 235. Alright, this is a way to remember your clearance for taxi. You see I put Hotel 1, this is where I'm supposed to taxi. This is my taxi instructions, Sierra, Foxtrot, and uniform. And double slash for me means all short 22 right. So if I keep that now on my FMC, I have my taxi clearance always available. Alright, so let's have a quick look at the chart. As expected, Sierra, right on Foxtrot, left on uniform, and we go to the holding point runway 22 right, Hotel 1 to hold short. Perfect. Good, so let's go for taxi. Lights on. And we can taxi our airplane. So to taxi the 737, maximum N1 on ground to move the aircraft is 40%. Now you have to spool up time, so you have to be a little bit patient, and the aircraft will start to accelerate, as you can see on the ground speed. Once you have a correct speed, you can go idle again with your thrust levers, and the aircraft should have enough inertia to taxi. Sometimes very heavy, you need to add some more thrust, so that's the way to taxi the airplane. So now I'm on idle again, and we start moving. You can see 15 knots of ground speed. Alright, so we are on Sierra. We are looking for Foxtrot, which will be coming next to the right. That should be Foxtrot here. So let's see. You see the speed is constant at 15 knots, slowing down a little bit when you turn, of course. Now we can see on the ground here Foxtrot, so that's right on Foxtrot. And finally left on uniform. How is it to the right here? It's clear, and we can turn on uniform. Alright, let's review our takeoff brief. Any malfunctions below 80 knots we will stop. Between 80 knots and V1 we will stop only in case of engine fire, engine failure, severe damage, wind shear or ATC call, or any reason for us to believe that the aircraft will not fly. In that case I will call stop, and I will immediately and simultaneously disconnect the auto throttle, close the thrust lever, extend the speed brake, and apply manual reverse. monitoring the auto brake, which is on RTO, and applying manual braking if required, bearing in mind the wind direction, so the wind will be coming slightly from the right in case of fire, so we can park the aircraft slightly into the wind. Once the aircraft come to a complete stop, I will set the parking brake, and then I will call ATC, cabin crew at station, and then we analyze the situation. Should we continue the takeoff, my call will be continue, no actions below 400 feet, except positive rate gear up, cancel any warning, any lights. At 400 feet, I will ask you to select heading to the left over the sea. We are safe, we climb 3000 feet, and please start APU and inform ATC. Any questions? So that will be a standard review of our takeoff briefing. And now we are approaching our runway, cabin is secured. Before takeoff checklist, please. So before takeoff checklist, we have the flaps 5 green lights, which is the same as we can see here. Be careful on the 737. If you have flaps 1 here and flaps 5 here, you will not get any takeoff warning. And it's even worse if it's the opposite. If you have computed your takeoff with flaps 5 and you have flaps 1 here, you might not get airborne. So be careful with that.
Hold short runway 22 right and contact tower on frequency 118.7. Have a nice day.
Roger, hold short of 22 right 1187 FSiPanel 235. Bye bye. Good, and the trim we have here 5.08, and we are going to put 5.08. Good. Right, we are approaching 22 right. Checklist is complete. Before takeoff checklist completed, let's call the tower. Tower, bonjour, FSiPanel 235, approaching 22 right, Hotel 1, ready.
FSiPanel 235, cross runway 22 right and line up runway 22 left.
Roger, cruise 22 right and line up 22 left, FSiPanel 235. Alright, so this is 22 right, we can see the sign on the left, Hotel 1, we are clear to cross. I can see no aircraft on final, good, and we will set the lights. So we are not clear for takeoff, so what I do is only the retractable, then the strobe, and we can go ahead with the transponder. 2254, I changed the frequency, sorry guys. We'll look at that later on, and I will advise the cabin. Cabin crew take off in 1 minute. Perfect. Crossing the runway, we are clear to line up on the other side, and the transponder was 2254.
FSiPanel 235, wind 270 degrees 13 knots, runway 22 left, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 22 left, clear for takeoff. FSiPanel 235. Alright, we are clear for takeoff. Fuel wise, we burned only 100 kilos of fuel, that's perfect. And we are clear for takeoff. Left side is clear, runway is cleared, and 22 left is identified. Now it's important to check that you have auto throttle arm, that you can see your departure line is correct. Otherwise, sometimes that's as well a good reminder that you might not be the right place, or that you didn't put the right runway in the FMC. So here everything looks good. The deviation is 0.00, so that means I'm where I'm supposed to be. All right, here we go. Getting ready for departure. We have been clear for takeoff. Lights on, start the time. And here we go, takeoff. 40% N1. Stable. N1 toga, set takeoff thrust. Thrust set. checked, throttle hold. Rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. LNAV. VNAV speed. Command LNAV VNAV speed.
FSiPanel 235.
N1.
Contact departure frequency 130.830. Safe flight.
One 30830 FSiPanel 235. Bye bye. All right, flaps 1. Departure hello FSiPanel 235, 2200 climbing 100, Lonzo 7 X-ray.
FSiPanel 235.
Flaps up.
Identified. Stop climb 5,000 feet QNH1015. Expect further climb shortly.
Roger, stop climb 5,000 feet on 1015, FSiPanel 235. 5,000 feet is set. Flaps up, no light. After takeoff, items please. So retractable light can go off. Alright, then engine start switch is off, taxi light off, auto brake off, and finally landing gear off. After takeoff checklist. Engine bleeds on, packs, auto, landing gear, up and off, flaps, up, no light. After takeoff checklist completed. Alright, we are maintaining 5,000 feet and we're expecting further climb very shortly. Everything looking... Oh, malfunctions. Command 2, let's see if that works. Okay, we have command LNAV V alt. Okay, identify failure. My control, please identify failure. So now we have to identify the failure. So let's have a look at the engine display, and what we can see here is that we have an engine fail number 1. Now we need to identify what kind of failure do we have. You can see that N1 is not rotating, N2 is not rotating, so it's a severe damage. If both will be rotating, we could say it's a flame out, but if one of these or both are not rotating, it's a severe damage. So we have memory items, so please start APU and let's go for the memory items, engine, fire, severe damage or separation, checklist, QRH. Alright, so total if engaged, disengage. It's already disengaged. Thrust lever.
Panel 235. Mayday is copied. Maintain 5,000 feet and turn left heading 120.
Roger, left heading 120, FSiPanel 235. Heading cell 120. Okay, so left thrust lever affected engine, confirm close. This is number 1. I have a joystick which has both, so I don't think I can do it. We'll see. It goes. Perfect. Alright, then continue. Engine start lever, confirm cutoff. Number 1, confirm. Confirm cutoff. Affected fire switch, confirm pull. Alright, so now this is something. If you don't have a fire light on, you cannot pull that fire switch. You need to press that button and now you can pull it. Fire switch pulled, and then if overheat light or fire, we need to rotate. That's not the case. So that's the end of the memory items for engine fire or engine severe damage or separation. Alright, now we just checked that the aircraft is properly trimmed. So the speed I will do now, what I will do, I will go altitude hold. That opened my window here. I will set a speed of around 220 knots, which is 10 knots above my up speed. And now a good speed.
FSiPanel 235. Proceed direct to Neras. November Echo Romeo Alpha Sierra. Hold as published. Expect RMP approach runway 22 right via Nanox.
Roger, proceed direct to Neras, November Echo Romeo Alpha Sierra, and hold expecting AirNav 22 right, FSiPanel 235. Alright, direct to Neras, November Echo Romeo Alpha Sierra. That's 16 miles, execute LNAV. LNAV is engaged, and what is the hold over there? Let's bring the chart. Okay, we can see Neras here, 297 right turn, 297 right turn. Okay, so Neras, we go holding. Next hold, Neras, 297 right turn, execute. Follow with the heading bug as always. And here we go. Alright, what I wanted to tell you just before ATC came is if you look at the weight of the aircraft, now 63.3 in kilogram, and you had about 10 of these figures, so 73. If I set my N1 to at 73, so 10 more than the numbers here, that will be a very nice setting to have a speed above minimum speed here, and that setting will work all the way to your configuration for landing. So now what we have to do in order for the aircraft to turn perfectly well in the holding is to trim it properly. Now I'm using some input on my right foot toward the right engine. This is why we are doing a nice flight here. So what I need to do is trim to the right. So let's trim a little bit the aircraft to the right. Usually with that setting you need 3 to 4 units maximum. So let's try now with 3 units. I remove the pressure on my right foot, and you can see it's a little bit too much, so I'm going back a little bit to the left. What you want to see is a perfect match here, triangle, for coordinated flight. Now it's perfect, and as long as you don't change any thrust on your 737, you will be fine. She will hold and she will fly perfectly well. If I will now add some thrust or reduce thrust, the coordination is gone and I have to trim the aircraft again. Alright, we are approaching the holding pattern and we are clear to hold, so now we will be able to do our checklist for to prepare the aircraft for landing. So for that we have a QRH, so we'll bring the QRH for engine fire, severe damage or separation. And that's the rest.
FSiPanel 235. Descend 4,000 feet. Report ready for the approach. Fire brigade has been advised.
Roger, descend 4,000 feet and we'll report ready for the approach. FSiPanel 235. So 4,000 feet and we'll report ready for the approach. So let's descend slowly, no rush, and let's go ahead with the checklist. So do we have any vibration anymore? Not really. Everything looks good. You can see the vibrations, they are low. So we have no issue there. Let's go to step number 9. Isolation valve close. That's the isolation valve. If we close it, then we prevent contaminated bleed from the failed engine to reach the other side. Then pack switch affected side close. So number 1 is failed, so we are going to shut down pack left pack off. Then what do we have? APU bleed air switch off. That should be the case already. And APU is available for start. Yes, we started it already. And when APU is available, we will put it on the bus. So now I need to put the APU on the bus. You see that I'm flying on command B, so no issue. If I put my generator on the bus, nothing will happen because I'm on command B. If I'm on command A and then I switch my generator on the bus, the autopilot will quit. So what we should do normally, if you want to avoid the autopilot off, just go on command B, put your generator on the bus, and now you can go back on command A. Great. And finally, balance fuel. So we will do that very soon. Let's do it now. So we open the crossfeed and we will turn off the pumps where there is less fuel. So the right pump, less fuel, we turn off these two pumps. Therefore, all the fuel will be coming from the left tank. So we are in the holding pattern. Perfect. And finally, we just need to put the transponder mode to TA only. That's to prevent the aircraft to command a climb and where the performance are limited. Alright, so that's the end of this part of the QRH. Now we need to do the rest. So isolation valve, after the fire has been extinguished, for us, we never had a fire, so now we can go back to automatic with the isolation valve. And we have planned to land at the nearest suitable airport. Alright, do not use FMC performance prediction. And when we are ready, we go to the one engine inoperative landing checklist. Okay, so far so good. Now we can analyze the situation. That will be now the time to analyze where we want to fly. So it's a land at the nearest suitable airport. So for us at this position, with this kind of weather, we could say that Nice is the nice airport. We will check the weather. So let's have a quick look at the weather.
This is
In fact, here you will ask the weather directly to ATC, and we know the weather is good. So we will fly this approach. He said RNP approach runway 22 right. So that's an interesting approach, especially single engine. Let me bring the chart. So this is what we're gonna have to fly, probably via Sotox or Nanax. We have 3,000 feet a descent, and it ends up, as you can see, with a big offset to the runway. And then we finish basically on the visual procedure along the Promenade des Anglais, which is a famous street here in Nice, to line up on 22 right. So it's not a very easy approach, especially if you are single engine. But with that kind of wind, we cannot land on the 04. And as well, diverting now with one engine out. If we have a suitable airport, we should avoid to do it. So the decision is taken. I will do a quick PA and inform my cabin crew, and we will prepare the aircraft then. So let's prepare the aircraft. Let's bring the checklist, one engine inoperative landing checklist, please. Okay, so that's the checklist you will bring to prepare the aircraft for landing when you have lost an engine. So as you can see, plan a flaps 15 landing. Now the aircraft will be landing on flaps 15 only. Set VREF 15 or VREF ice. So let's do it right now. I will set VREF 15. Done. We don't have ice, so we don't need to really read that comment which is there. And then check the non-normal configuration landing distance table in the performance in flight QRH. So as we fly to Nice, we know that this is already good. And the aircraft on that runway, there is no problem. We don't have any FB right now, but with the FB you will find out that everything is good. Now there is a very important sentence down there on point 4. Maintain VREF 15 plus wind additive on final approach. Alright, so what does that mean is we are going to add a wind increment here, which is half of the headwind plus full gust if there is any gust. So the wind reported was 270 at 15 knots, so probably around 12 knots of headwind. So let's put +6 as wind additive right there. So our approach speed will be 160. VREF flaps 15 154 +6 160. When engine anti-ice is needed, we will never have a problem with anti-ice today, luckily for us. That's the end of the this first part. Then let's call the descent checklist. And again, the descent checklist, you will take the descent checklist now from the QRH. So descent checklist, pressurization, landing altitude. So in Nice it's 0 is set. Recall. So when we press recall, we just make sure that we don't have a new case. So we have fuel because we are balancing the fuel right now, still balancing. And we have electrical because we have the drive light and the generator of the bus due to the engine failure. So recall is checked. Then landing data VREF 15. So VREF flaps 15 is 154 plus 6, 160. And approach briefing, we will do it now. So keep it open. All right, so let's go ahead with the briefing. So let's bring the charts and we'll do a quick briefing for this RNP approach on runway 22 right. Alright, this is the approach that we will fly. It's an AirNav approach, mandatory. You have 3,000 feet at point 22 here. So probably we will be cleared at some point to Nanax, 3,000 feet. On course to Fox November 22D, 3,000 feet mandatory. Then we will start a descent towards our MDA, which is 1260. And at the missed approach point, if we don't have the runway, we execute the missed approach, which is turn left, maximum speed 185 knots to Mike November 412, climbing to maximum 3,000 feet. Okay, so again, on my briefing, I just don't brief everything. I just remember that I just have to turn left, basically toward the sea, heading 180 will do, then adjust the track to Mike November 412, and then climb 3,000 feet. Then once this is done, we can look at the charts and use LNAV if required to fly to Neras and join the hold. If we have contact, then we need to fly a visual procedure. So here we will descend slowly toward 1,000 feet on track 303, and we will go along the coast to turn final 223 and establish on 22 right to the PAPI. Now, if we need to go around after we initiated the turn, then we will do a bulked landing, climb straight ahead 3,000 feet, and then expect left turn by ATC. So that's quite straightforward. We will use auto brake 2, flaps 30 for landing. The runway is very long. We have no issue with the runway, about 2,600 meters, so that should be fine. And we will stop on the runway to assess the aircraft. Good. Any questions? If no question, we will prepare then the cockpit. All right, so 223, we have to change the route there. So if I go on page 1, I would put Lima Fox Mike November. That's my new destination now. And we are going to do RNP approach runway 22 right. So let's see if we find that here. AirNav 22 right. Just want to make sure I'm picking the right one. Yeah, AirNav 22 right, as you can see. And we can say that we are going to fly it from Neras. Execute. So here I should see at some point Sotox and Nanax. That's what we were expecting. And then the famous Fox November 22D. And then the runway 22 right is there. Auto brake 2. And we set already the approach speed for flaps 15. Good. So that's done. Everything looks good. What I will do now is cruise page. You see we have flaps level 130. So we are going to set 4,000 feet, the actual altitude. And we are going to set the descent speed. We'll keep it around 220 knots. 220. 220. And if you go to cruise page, you can put as well 220 later on. Now the problem is we are in the hold, so I will show you later on what we have to do if you want to fly LNAV and VNAV. All right, good. This is done. If you want to avoid the off-track descent, this one here, you just set your new altitude here, 4,000 feet. That will just clear that malfunction. And we are ready to go for the approach checklist, please. That was done. Sorry, there is one point that is not mentioned here on my checklist, is the flap inhibit that should go on. So that's to prevent too low flaps as we are landing with flaps 15 instead of flaps 30 or flaps 40. So we switch this flap inhibit to on. As you can see now with the gross weight plus 10 that I showed you before, around 70 plus 10, 62 plus 10, sorry, 72, you can see that figure right there. The speed is perfect. And as we trim the aircraft, she can do the holding without any trouble. That's the good thing to do. And the less you touch your thrust, the better it is. So you will see that I will try not to touch anything on my thrust. Okay, so we are ready for the approach. We didn't forget anything. So let's go for the approach then. I will call ATC and tell them that we are ready for the approach. FSiPanel 235, we are ready for the approach.
FSiPanel 235, roger. Proceed direct to Nanax.
Proceed direct to Nanax, FSiPanel 235. Alright, direct to Nanax. So Lex page, Nanax. If you press against Lex page, you go immediately to page 1. On top, execute. Shortest turn was to the left, so she will turn to the left. Doesn't matter. She didn't tell us proceed right turn or left turn. She just said proceed direct to Nanax, which is 24 miles from here. So the aircraft is turning with the shortest direction, so that was a left turn. So we are turning to Nanax, and now what I wanted to show you is if you go to your cruise page, you can see that now if I arm VNAV, she will accelerate to 250 knots. See what happened? 250. Of course, the auto throttle is not working as we turn it off, but that's the reference she has now for speed reduction and for the descent. So we don't want this. So what I will do now is in the cruise page. Normally on the 737 you can change the figure right there, but on the PMDG here it doesn't work. So what you do is you press long range cruise, you get these figures, and now you change it to your actual speed around 220 knots. Execute. And now in descent page we put 220 as well. So if I press now VNAV, the bug will come to 220 VNAV path, and the aircraft is perfectly well. So now we can fly the approach in LNAV and VNAV. Okay, so we are turning again. Let's put again a direct to Nanax. As you can see now, she is trying to fly the magenta line here, but if I go direct to Nanax again, she will compute a new direct and she will turn directly toward Nanax. By the way, you can fly this scenario in French. If you are a French speaker, you can download the same scenario but with French ATC. So that's because we are departing from France and heading toward a French airport. So that's why the voice is available in French. Okay, so Nanax on the way, and then we're gonna have to concentrate on this approach. We're expecting to descend 3,000 feet at some point. As we can see here, Nanax direct, maximum speed 200 knots and 3,000 feet. Okay, so we're gonna have to reduce the speed, and we should be at 3,000 feet. And there is a mandatory 3,000 here, so probably ATC will give us some descent. Let's see. What about our fuel? Now we have more fuel to the right, so we can turn off cross feed, put the pumps back on, and don't forget to close the cross feed. And now that should fix by itself slowly, and the fuel for landing should be perfectly good. So that's the risk when we do a cross feed. We forgot, and then we get again, we back from one side to the other. So be careful with that as well when you initiate a cross feed in case of engine failure. Alright, when are we going to get our descent? See the speed, very easy, 220 knots with 74, which is about 10 more than my gross weight. Okay, another thing I wanted to tell you guys, if you have to descend,
FSI
okay,
panel 235.
sorry,
Descend 3,000 feet. Cleared RNP approach 22 right.
descend 3,000 feet and clear RNP to right, FSiPanel 235. Yeah, I wanted to tell you, if you want to descend, do not use level change, because then you will need to change your thrust. The best mode is vertical speed. Now we have to descend, but I want to slow down as well. So what I will do, I will use flaps 1 now. Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1. Now the bug will go to 1 automatically. And the aircraft will start to slow down, as you can see. And I will start the descent now. So I press descend now. And now the commanded descent is 1,000 feet per minute. Because we are below profile, so she will command 1,000 feet per minute. We can go flaps 5. Use a bit of speed brake, as I don't want to touch my thrust, to show you how easy you can fly that airplane if you don't touch the thrust in single engine condition. Now she's perfectly trim, and I didn't touch anything since we did it. So that's the
FSI
secret.
panel 235. Contact tower 118.7. Safe landing.
Thank you, 1187 FSiPanel 235. Tower hello, FSiPanel 235, approaching 3,000 feet.
FSI panel 235, wind 270 degrees 15 gusting 20 knots, runway 22 right cleared to land. Please stop on the runway. Fire brigade will come to the aircraft.
Roger, clear to land 22 right, and we'll stop on the runway, FSiPanel 235. Okay, clear to land, perfect. Alright, let's go flaps 5 now. We'll bug 5. I went vertical speed for that, as I have the speed brake as well there. So the aircraft will be maintaining now 3,000 feet. You can see here our descent profile for the approach. And the minimum was 1260. We forgot to set the minimum. Alt acquired. Let's retract the speed brake. Okay. VNAV. 1,300 feet. VNAV path. Very important that you check VNAV path. Good. Here we go. So LNAV, VNAV path. The speed is 170. And now we're expecting our descent. You can see the path is coming slowly. The speed is dropping very slowly. I still didn't change anything to my thrust setting. So it seems to be working pretty well. We are back in VNAV. So we are expecting the aircraft to start descent now. And as we are clear to land, I'll put the lights here on. Alright, starting descent now. Gear down. Speed brake arm. Gear down 3 greens. Flaps 15. Landing checklist. Landing checklist. Engine start switches. Continuous. Speed brake. Arm. Landing gear. Down. Flaps, 15 green light. Landing checklist complete. Okay, let's get ready here. You are descending nicely on track. As you can see here, the deviation is good. No deviation vertically, no deviation laterally. Vertically, sorry. And once we reach that point, we need to continue on 303 to go to the runway. Again, you can see the speed. I didn't change anything, so that's the secret, and I'm always telling that to the new guys. Set your thrust and then she will fly for you. Alright, we are approaching our 1000 feet. What I will do now, I will set missed approach altitude, which is 3000 feet, and we'll get ready to level off at 1000 feet and to continue on the track 303. So as now we are flying 303, the track, we just synchronize the heading and we should be fine. This is what we want to see, 303 right there. Runway is there, very nice. Let's go. Heading, vertical speed, reduce the vertical speed, as we want to maintain around 1000 feet, sorry, during that turn to final. As I will add some thrust on the right engine, probably to maintain 1000 feet, it will be important to trim as well a little bit to the right. You can see the aircraft, we need a little bit of right trim input probably. Alright, we are approaching 1000 feet to maintain. We pass the point. Now I will take it manually and we will fly that approach. So autopilot off, flight director off, and you can use the flight path vector to help you with the altitude, to maintain the altitude. 1000 feet, check. So we want to maintain about 1000 feet there. And we need to turn not too early. Right now seems to be a right moment to start the left turn, around 15 to 20 degrees bank. Shallow descent. And we are aiming for the runway. Here it is. Now we're looking at the PAPI.
Approaching minimums.
Checked. Continue.
Minimums.
Landing. Okay, the wind is from the right, so it's pushing us toward the runway. That's fine.
400.
Small correction now.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
All right, on the runway and slightly braking. Oh, my controller just went off the line. Sorry guys, my pedals went off. All right, we are still alive and stopping 60 knots. We'll stop on the runway. The wind is from the right, a little bit to the right. Parking brake set and tension crest station. All right, so let's analyze the situation. The engine's parameters looks normal on the engine number 2, and we don't have any fire, so I guess we can taxi by yourself to the gate. And the fire brigade is here to help us. Let's have a look. Excellent. Here's the fire brigade.
FSiPanel 235, this is the end of the scenario. Well done. Please rate your experience on FSiPanel forum. Cheers.
That's it, guys. We survived. I'm sorry about this landing when we touched down. I was maintaining the center line with my rudder pedals, and suddenly the controller went offline, so I was not able anymore to do anything. I was able to revert with the keyboard. We didn't touch the grass, that's good, but that could have been better at the end. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any question or any comment, I'm very happy to answer anything on the comment section below. Give it a try by yourself, it's a very nice scenario. And remember, if you set 10 more than your gross weight in kilogram and you trim your aircraft properly once you're in level flight, you should be good almost to landing. Alright, thank you and subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Bye bye.